Welcome soulmate to another interesting video from the Honest Academy. The purpose here is for the sleeve, the structured sleeve. Okay, so we're going to be looking at how to create this structured sleeve, right? So number one thing I did is to get the size of the fabric that I want, the fashion fabric and the lining. Okay, I'm going to measure it to show us the amount of fabric that was used both in the length and in the width. The same thing that was cut for the fashion fabric is what is called cut for the lining, right? So here I'm measuring what we have. This is about 14 inches or thereabout for the width of the fashion fabric. It depends on how big you want it, so long as it goes from the front to the back, and the length of it is about 25 or thereabout, or 27. Okay, so like I said, it depends on how big you want it, and of course it should be something that will go to the back, the armhole, the back of the armhole. Okay, so once you have achieved this, the next thing we're going to do is to get our crinoline. This is the crinoline that I used to achieve that structured sleeve. So this is one ingredient. In fact, that's everything that was used. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to get my crinoline, and I'm going to sew it to the lining, not on the fashion fabric. I'm going to sew it to the lining from top to bottom, from bottom to top, whichever one. Okay, so sew it to the lining in such a way that everything stays together. I'm going to be applying this up to like 4 places, or even more than 4 places. It depends on the width of the fabric that you have. So I'll just place it this one, like this, 1, 2, into how many it's going to come out. I think I did more than 4 places. Okay, so all we have to do now is to take it to the machine and sew. Here we have finished sewing it to the lining. You can see the crinoline on the lining. This is more than 4 places. Okay, to the lining. Sew everything on one side. Now once we have achieved that, the next thing is to turn it with the fashion fabric. And of course, if you're turning it, you're going to make sure that the rough edges stays in between the fabric and the lining, so that it's not seen. The part for the crinoline stays in between. So I'm going to join them this way, side by side, and I'll show you what it looks like joining it side by side. So we have joined it here, and I've turned it inside out. Okay, so this is what it's looking like. This is just what is needed to give it the structure, right? So once I have something like this, we're almost done. The next thing is to fold it and fix to the part where it's going to be, right? You can see the way I'm trying to fold it here. Now this edge that is open, we're equally going to sew it so that it looks nice, and this is how it's going to look when you fix it to the sleeve, or the part where you want to have it. So like I said, I've closed this upper, the other side, the two other sides, so that it will not show when you fix it, because you're not going to be weaving it again. Now this is the part that I've put together. You can gather it, you can pleat it however you want it to be, but I use needle and thread here to gather it, and make sure it's not something that will be pulling as soon as possible. Make it very strong. Okay, so like this, we are going to fix it to where we need it to be, right? Due to workload, I was not able to show how I was fixing it, but just sew it from the front side to the back side, right? So this is what we have, and this is how it is fixed on the garment. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.